And joining us live now with what this means for Boeing, its workers, our local economy, is aviation analyst John Nance. John, good to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Well, it's good to see you.
So did you see this coming? I know some of the workers said they weren't surprised, but a delay in the 777X, ending of the 767 freighter program down the road, and layoffs?
I'll give you a lawyer-like answer: yes and no. Yes, I saw it coming to the extent that there have to be cuts. There have to be additional things put on the table to say to the workers, this is a golden goose and you're strangling it. By the same token, this is a quintessential example of any type of major labor management fight. How much of the company's production, in terms of revenue, should the workers have, and how much should the company have? It's a timeless kind of battle, and it's very sad to see because it's a very dynamic situation and it needs to change.
As you know, Boeing has seen a myriad of challenges, safety concerns, oversight issues. 10% of the workforce now, it's about 17,000 people. What overall do you think is the impact to our economy locally?
Well, I think the local economy is only going to hiccup at this point, but if it goes too long and goes too deep, we're going to see some rather permanent effects in terms of smaller businesses that support Boeing, as well as a lot of the revenue that turns 2 and 3 times it comes from Boeing. Boeing is not just a major manufacturer for the country; it's an extremely important company in the country, and I'm hoping that everybody involved here can push it along here to the extent of finding middle ground before the golden goose gets sick.
I'm sure you noticed the stock slid 2% in after-hours trading on this announcement today. The company expects to take a big financial hit as well in its defense and space division this quarter. So what will that mean for the company, do you think?
That's probably the most surprising element to me, is how much of a prediction of a hit they have. But they have not been performing as well as they wanted to, and many of those contracts are very fixed contracts, as Boeing pointed out. So what they're doing is basically a combination of things. They're taking some realistic cuts that they would probably have made anyway in one form or another, not the 10%, but in certain other things like sunsetting the 767 line. But by the same token, they're putting those on the table as fast as they can to demonstrate to the other side that, there's only so far you can go that can be positive in terms of the outcome. Otherwise, we start cutting into the sinew.
How concerned are you that airlines might terminate some of their contracts with Boeing and switch to Airbus models?
You don't just buy airliners for an airline, you basically wed the company. So there are a lot of airliners out there with, for instance, my own Alaska Airlines, Southwest Airlines, it's all 737. You don't walk away from that overnight just because of a labor dispute that has cost the company a lot of money. By the same token, down the line, it's certainly not something that airline executives I should say, want to see. To have a certain degree of instability in the orders. We've already had enough of that with the 787 program years ago.
And finally, these structural changes, as the CEO described them, do you think it's going to keep Boeing competitive over the long term?
Over the long term, I think this kind of bloodletting, if it doesn't go too far, plus all the other cathartic things that were going on at Boeing as a result of a lot of things, including that blowout of the 737 out of Portland, all of these are going to make for a far better company. It's not just a mid-course correction, but as I've said before, and you've heard me talk about this, the act of changing the company to one that was all revenue focused and not engineering focused, which occurred when Harry Stonecipher came aboard from McDonnell Douglas, that has been the downfall of the company to a great extent, and that can be repaired, but it has to be done very well and throughout the company.
John Nance, we always appreciate your analysis on this. Thank you so much tonight.